So I wanted to make this video to talk about my reflections so far in the medical school application process. Um, I am a current applicant to medical school, for those of you who don't know, and I have been fortunate to receive two interview invites so far. And I won't disclose where, but I will just say that it's been really eye-opening reflecting on my application so far and thinking about the things that have worked for me and the things that I wish I did differently. Um, I think the rhetoric in the pre-medical community these days is, or forever actually, is that the GPA and MCAT matter, and they certainly do. But one of my biggest lessons is how important your why medicine is. It's extremely important, and I think it actually can make a bad application pretty good, and it can also make a pretty great application on paper not as compelling. And when I think about how we actually answer, why medicine, it's kind of hard, right? It's not really, it seems like a pretty obvious question, right? Why do you want to go into medical school? Why do you want to become a doctor? But it's not as easy of a question as it sounds. And that is what I was grappling with when I made my personal statement. And I didn't even know how to articulate it. I knew my answer. I kind of knew my gut feeling that yes, this is right for me. But actually articulating it is a whole different challenge. And so I wanted to make this video today to talk about, for all of you pre-medical students out there, how can you do this? How do you actually communicate your why medicine to the admissions committee? And how do you even find it out yourself, right? Communicating it is one thing, but you can't communicate an answer that you don't even know yourself. So what I would first say is, let's just take a step back. Well, in order to understand your why medicine, you have to first understand medicine itself. You have to first understand the career you're entering and the actual type of field you're getting into and the responsibilities of it. And how do you actually do that, right? We are all undergraduate students. We are trying to do well in organic chemistry. We have to take the MCAT. How do we actually explore the field we're entering in order to articulate why we want to go into it? And so the first things that come to mind is shadowing, becoming a medical assistant, becoming a scribe, having friends or family and talking to them who are in the medical field. These are all excellent ways to get into the field and understand what you're going to be entering as you go into medical school and beyond. But that is harder than it seems, right? When I was a freshman at the University of Michigan, my greatest concerns were getting good grades, shadowing physicians as much as I could, getting into clubs. But it really wasn't easy to shadow, and it wasn't really easy to explore medicine. I was more focused on scholastic achievement, doing well in terms of research and grades. And I would even go as far to say that that is probably the focus of most pre-medical students when they're freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and even seniors. I would say in our pre-medical culture, the focus is to do well on your stats and build a great application, and the focus is less on actually exploring and understanding the field we're entering, which is arguably way more important than getting a great GPA. And it's not, I mean, it's not arguably more important. It is more important, right? Why would we bother getting a great MCAT and a great GPA if we can't even understand, first off, the type of career we're going to be entering? And I'll clarify, I think we all understand that patients or doctors see patients, we treat disease, they treat symptoms, or they look at symptoms and then they treat the problems that might be underlying or causing those symptoms. But medicine is a lot more than that. And it's hard at the pre-medical level to really understand the nuance of the field that we're entering. And that's actually partly why I made MedLeague. MedLeague was one of the coolest things on my pre-medical application, I think. It was on my medical school application. It was something motivated by my experienced difficulty exploring medicine. I shadowed physicians extensively. I was a medical assistant at the orthopedics clinic, but I still found myself asking questions about the path to becoming a physician and also the career itself. And it caused doubt in me about whether I was pursuing the right thing. And fast forward to today, well, I'm very fortunate to say that I am in a great spot now and I'm sure of the path I'm pursuing. But getting to this point wasn't easy, and MedLeague is my version of helping other pre-medical students along this journey. Um, and it's tough, right? Because as much as I say that exploring medicine is important, I still think that pre-meds will care about the GPA and the MCAT and the things that uh, go on your medical school application. They'll care about that stuff more than they care about the deeper why medicine, because they know that the GPA and the MCAT is what is seen by medical schools, and so it's hard to ignore things like that. But I would argue your why medicine is not only doing you a service for your medical school application, it's also doing you a service for your life, for your life. I mean, you need to make sure that when you go through this training process and when you're at the final destination and you're an attending physician, that you are happy with your choice and that you understood exactly what you're getting yourself into. And that boils down to knowing your why medicine. Um, I know several cases of people who, on paper, were excellent physicians or excellent candidates to become physicians. They were great at testing. They were, smart, intelligent, curious, compassionate people. But for whatever reason, they weren't right for medicine and they stopped. In fact, actually, yesterday I met a vascular surgeon who was a vascular surgeon and for many years, and she stopped because she realized that at heart she was an engineer and she loved building things and she loved the innovation that comes with engineering. Um, and so, if she had put her GPA and MCAT and classes first, then it's very likely then that you're going to be in the same boat. But if you think about the deeper reasons for choosing medicine, then I think we can avoid or serve yourself in the future and make sure that you're going into the field for the right reasons. So yeah, I just wanted to make a video about the importance of knowing your why medicine. And so the next part of the video is, okay, so now that I've established why knowing your why medicine is important, let's talk about like, how do you actually go about answering that question? Shadowing and becoming a scribe is one thing, and I mentioned that earlier. But I think just talking to physicians is really great, and that's not something that's actually really easy at the pre-medical level. It's really hard finding physicians, especially if you're coming from a family who doesn't have any personal connections to medicine. And so I'm making MedLeague as we speak right now. MedLeague actually launched yesterday. It's a free community for pre-medical students, but the idea of the community is to help pre-medical students meet physicians and have them ask questions that they would like to know before they choose to go to medical school. And similarly, the pre-medical students in MedLeague can also meet medical students and ask some questions about, hey, what is it like to be doing rotations? What is it like to be a fourth-year medical student applying for residency? What has your journey been like? What are your regrets? What are your perspectives? What do you like the most about it? I think this type of dialogue needs to happen more. There needs to be more interconnectedness between pre-meds, medical students, residents, and physicians. Right now, there's a huge gap in between every single stage, and I think that gap is ultimately doing a disservice for the future medical professionals of our country and the world. I think having more dialogue is going to help produce physicians who are more conscientious of what exactly they're getting into, and they're more conscientious of their profession, ultimately allowing them to be better care providers for the community and the entire world at large. So as I move forward in my interviews and my medical school application, I am really, really driven to emphasize this importance among the pre-medical community. I want to reform the culture among pre-meds because as someone who personally grappled with doubt, but has now succeeded in conquering that doubt, I want to help others along this journey. And my first iteration of the solution is MedLeague. And so this YouTube channel or the MedLeague YouTube channel will partly be used to talk about what we do. And will also be used to give you all free free value when it comes to the pre-medical journey and other parts of the aspects of your journey. Um, and so yeah, so I hope you have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good night.